Hi everybody, welcome to Watercolor Wednesday. I'm Leslie Watkins. So here at Dandelion Cottage, we had some birthdays going on, and I received this beautiful bouquet of flowers. It was a lot bigger. I've been trimming down the stems to keep it going longer. And I thought it would be really fun today to paint some of these flowers before they faded away. So I think I've got a couple of different tones here. Let's see. These are the, oops, see it's on its way out, so I'm losing some petals here, but there's still some buds coming along. And as you know, if you keep your flowers trimmed at the stem, you can sometimes coax them into sticking around a little bit longer. So let's see what we've got here. They're looking pretty good. Let's try these. Okay, I'm going to clean up some of this mess. So how are you all today? We have some snow. Weather's been crazy. We have snow coming in the forecast, and today it feels like spring. But I guess that's to be expected at this time of year. I just want to check my settings, make sure that this is broadcasting. And we are. There it goes. Hi, Kelly. Good to see you. Okay, so these are Astrumeria, and they are a lovely florist, fairly common florist flower, and they're great for bouquets because they come in a lot of different colors, and because they keep on blooming, they last for quite a while, and that's what these have been doing. Now there's probably only about another day or two left in them, but that's enough. That's enough for us to do a painting from. You know, it's not important to have the most perfect looking specimens for your painting. In fact, it's just the opposite. I find that when you have an older bloom that you're working from and it has some spots on it or brown spots or the leaves are beginning to wither a little bit, that it actually adds a lot more interest to your pictures. So, so don't be afraid to work from something that's on its way out. Now I've got some paper here. I've got a very vanilla card base. I've got a little bit of the gold foil paper, and I've got some Mossy Meadow cardstock, and I'm using a hot press watercolor paper for this today. And I've got a number 2 pencil, and then I've got my watercolors, so let me show you those. I'm just using yellow, red, and blue, and I'm going to use my spritzer to just moisten those. And I've got some water containers off to the side and some paper towels. And that's really all you need to get started. So let me zoom you in a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. There we go. And if you're interested in learning more about the upcoming Botanical Watercolor class, which is free with a $50 purchase, And you can find more information about that here on an earlier post. I will also be sending out information about how to register. So if you'd like to learn more about that, please go to dandelioncottagedesign.com and subscribe to Notes, and I'll be able to send you all of the information that you need to know, both for the Botanical Watercolor class and for the Watercolor Card Club. So you only have just a few more days. This special offer is going to end on February 28th, so I think that's about 6 days from now. So if that's something that you're interested in, you want to make sure that you get on the mailing list and that you register for the class as soon as you can. And in order to register for the class, you're going to need the host code. That's very important. So so look for that host code in the previous post. And after I finish painting today, I'm going to be putting all of that information down below. I think I'm going to do a vertical painting, so I'm just going to turn my card this way, my paper. And I'm going to keep it simple. So I'm just going to make a quick sketch, and this is just to help me get my design arranged. So I'm not going to do a lot of talking today. I'm going to do more painting than talking, and I'll try not to keep you on for too long. But if you don't have a cup of coffee or some tea, you might want to go grab that as we get started here. And this is going to be a fairly loose watercolor. I'm not going to be copying the flowers and the leaves exactly. I'm going to be using them more for inspiration. So I will be looking at them for color and shape and form, but I'm going to design the picture the way I want it. And if you have any questions, please post them in the comments, and I will, in a little while, I'll take a break and I'll look to see if I can help you by answering those questions that you may have. I'll also be including a materials list below. And if you're interested in purchasing any of these supplies, there's a special going on between now and February 28th for Sale-a-bration. And with that special, you will be able to select a free gift with every $50 purchase that you make. Every $50 or $100 purchase that you make, because we also have some $100 items. And if you'd like to learn more about that, you'll be able to go on to the online store and see what some of those selections could be. And I'm going to be using one of them at the end of the video today, so make sure that you stay tuned for that so you can see what the wonderful Marbleous paper looks like, because it works beautifully with these botanical watercolors. Now these flowers have some wonderful streaks on them, so I want to make sure that I pick up those little streaks. And might not be, I don't know if it's going to be dry enough to do that just yet, but let's see. Might be able to get a couple of them on here. Just kind of give that a little indication. Okay, so I'm just about done here. I'm just going to add a few more touches. So these leaves have a little bit of a kind of a stripy effect with these long veins that they have running through them. So just a few details like that here and there. then this pretty bud. Okay, so I think that will just about do it. I'm going to put this aside so that this can dry a little bit. And while that's drying, I'll get my card base ready. And just a little more pink over here. There we go. Let me just move some of these things away. Oh, it looks like there might be some questions here. Hold on a second. Let's read those questions. Sandra says, I noticed you didn't spritz the paper before you started. When do you start with dry paper and wet paper? Well, it just really depends on how I'm going to go about the picture, Sandra. Sometimes you want to have a soft diffused background or effect, and so you'll work with a wet technique. That's not what I wanted today. Today I just wanted to do sort of a traditional looking botanical painting, so you would not paint wet and wet for that. With a traditional botanical, you would typically build up your colors and your form very slowly, just with little brush strokes, as you saw me do today. Kit says, this is a breath of springtime. Yes, it's always good to be able to paint some flowers in your studio in the middle of winter. Thank you, Kelly. Let's see. Becky says it's cold and rainy in Arizona. Kelly says it's cold in Wisconsin. Yeah, it's a real pleasure to be able to paint in your winter studio from some flowers. And if you can't get flowers, you can always go to the supermarket and find some vegetables or some fruit to paint from. They make great still lives so that you can still keep practicing. So I would really recommend that you do that. Now I also have some of this. This is the Simply Marbleous paper that I had mentioned earlier. This is something that you can get for free with an order of $50 or more, and you can do that only until February 28th. So these papers are one of the free products that you can get with Sale-a-bration. And if you'd like to learn more about that, just follow the links below after the video today to go to the online store, and you will be able to see all of the different products that you have to select from. So I kind of like this this violet toned paper. So that's not bad. Maybe what I want to do is trim down my art a little bit. So let's just see how this comes together here. Okay, I'm gonna do that. So in order to do that, I'm simply going to tear off a little of this excess paper along the top. You want to make sure that when you're handling paper that you use your bone folder so you don't get the oils from your skin onto the fine watercolor paper, because it will repel the water. Let me make this a little bit smaller. Maybe a little more narrow too. This is going to be hard to do, just this little tiny strip here, but I will go slow and work it back and forth to make it a little bit easier. Of course, this is something that you can do before you get started painting, but I just grabbed whatever I had handy on my desk here. It's getting a little better. We're getting there. I think I'm going to have to go around all four sides to get this to where I want it so that I can show off that paper. And these little scraps that I'm tearing off, these will be useful for collages. Sometimes you get one that's wide enough for a sentiment. So I just put these in a little bucket and I save them. And we were talking the other day about making handmade paper. All of these little scraps are perfect for that purpose. So, so if that's something that you think you might want to do at some point, then I would be sure to save your scraps. All right, so I think that's pretty good now, and I'm just going to give this a little rub to flatten it down. And let's see if I can get a little bit of green on here too. I kind of like that darker edge to sort of pull that all together. Okay, I think we're getting there. So let's do some measuring. My green mat measures 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. So I'm going to trim this down to 5 1/4 by 4. Not sure that I did that right. No, I went the wrong way. Oops. That's okay. I gotta take a little more off of this side. This needs to be 4. Okay. Alright, so there's my beautiful marbled paper, I should say imitation marbled paper background. And then here, let's see how much room I have here. Not a lot. So just the tiniest amount of gold peeking out, I think, is all I'll be able to fit in here. So this is measuring about, might have to trim that down a little bit more up there. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to fit in the gold on this one. It's going to be a little too tight. So I think I'm going to leave it at that. I'm not even going to try, because it's just going to cut in to the into this specialty paper. And here, oh, by the way, there's the other side. So you also have the other side to choose from. Okay, that looks pretty good. Okay. Now, I'm about to celebrate my 5 years with Stampin' Up, using them to provide my students with some of the finest paper crafting tools and supplies that you can get delivered right to your door, and all coordinating beautifully with one another. And to celebrate that, I've got a special going on right now, which is that I am offering a free botanical watercolor class with an order of $50 or more when you use the special host code. And I'll be posting that code and a link below after the video today. If you join the botanical watercolor class, I'm going to give you the opportunity to win this card. Okay, so I'm going to have a raffle at the end of the class, and you have to be in the class to be able to be part of the raffle. And I will put your name in a spinner, and whoever wins is going to get this hand-painted card from me. So be sure you get on my mailing list to find out more about how you can register for the class, or come back later and I'll have all the information posted below in the description under this video. And also, if you want to check right now, there is a previous post and you'll be able to get all the links there and the host code. So one more thing I want to do. I'm going to be using the Special Moments stamp set. This is another stamp set that is also available during Sale-a-bration with an order of $100. And this one contains 21 different sentiments. And there's something in here for just about every occasion. And I'm going to make a little tag. I've got my stamp mounted up already. I have a tiny scrap here. Okay, and that reads, "I have something for you." I'm just going to punch a little hole in that. I've got a little piece of linen thread here. I'm just going to slip that through. Oops, didn't do that very well. Let's try that again. There we go. So when this dries, I'll get this all together. It's a little damp right now. So that's what I've got for you today, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope to see you in class. And don't forget, just a few more days until the end of Sale-a-bration when you'll be able to select all of these beautiful free products. And I will see you again next time. And until then, stay well, stay creative, stay happy. And if you do decide to paint a beautiful floral image, I'd love to see what you do, so be sure to share that with me.